It is estimated that every 10 seconds, 40 people are born and 20 people die. To comprehend the amount of bodies that accumulate every day is impossible. There's more dead meat than living meat, and they don't disappear that easily. It's hard enough getting rid of the weekly trash. Imagine 150 pounds of rotting flesh. This is the story about the body of a man named Robert. Robert's body was generally unhealthy due to habits and a reckless diet. The previous night, Robert's neighbor took his own life and left behind a significant mess. The landlord hired a cleaner to take care of it so he could rent it out again. As Robert returned home one day, he crossed paths with the cleaner drenched in blood. They made eye contact in acknowledgement. Robert was struck by the hollow look in the cleaner's eyes, an immediate sense of exhaustion. He was most likely paid a minimum wage to scrub a stranger's rotting remains from apartments. This endless routine probably made up most of his existence. A good, hard-working man doing the dead's dirty work. It was very selfish of his neighbor to leave such a mess for someone else to clean up. Robert thought about his own body. He wished to go as clean and hassle-free as possible. It would be rude of him to expect someone else to clean up his mess. If only he could just evaporate in the shower. Not a single trace of him left. Putting yourself in a coffin is pretty selfish. Defying nature by clinging on to a spot on Earth as though it's the only thing you physically have left. It's pathetic, really. Robert was on his lunch break with his co-worker and friend, Rupert. He brought up the question of what one would do with their body after they died. Surprisingly, this was also a prominent subject in Rupert's mind as well. The two of them engaged in a deep and complex conversation about ridding the remaining physical presence of the empty vessel. Robert began to think about his friends, everyone he loved and cared about. What would they do to respect Robert? The two eventually came to an agreement. Rupert promised Robert that he'd do anything in his power to make sure his final wish was carried out. 7 months later, perhaps because it was such a weighing topic in his mind, Robert died. He stopped breathing after a chicken bone was lodged in his throat as he laid in bed. The news naturally devastated everyone close to him. He transitioned from a man who never quite figured his life out to an amazing man whose legacy will live on forever. Little did anyone know, the worst was yet to come.
So, thanks for coming out. It really means a lot. I think it's important for us all to get together and talk about where we're at and how we're doing.
I'm devastated. It's like the floor has fallen out from beneath me. I don't know what to do. For me and John, Robert was another part of our brain. What do we do now?
I was very hard on him. Our breakup was very hard on him. And my standards were just so fucked up. And I made him feel like shit all the time. And he didn't deserve that.
I've never dealt with the death of someone close before. I haven't even really been existing at all this week. You know, people come up to me, and I don't even know what they're saying. Like Cooper said, he was a part of my existence, and now he's gone. I envy everyone who is happy right now.
It's been a fucking hurricane of everything, all the emotions, and I can't cry anymore because I can't accept that he's gone. I can't miss him because I see him everywhere I go. And John and I aren't connecting or interacting at all. And it's like that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer when the mom dies. And the musical supervisor made that brilliant choice to not score the episode. It was just silence. And I didn't understand it until now, but now I'm in that silence, and that silence is fucking deafening.
I worked with Robert for the last 5 years of his life, and he was like a brother to me. And also, because of him, I got to know all of you. He was a very amazing man who brought so much to us all and made us who we are. And he will always live on in us. To Robert.
To
Robert.
So, this isn't really why I brought us all here.
What?
I was sent this letter he wrote in his will.
Robert wrote a will? He was 35. What estate could he possibly have to give away?
Well, it's not really about an estate. It's something more personal. I'm supposed to read this to you four specifically. Please just listen and try to understand. It took a while for me to get. But it's for Robert.
What the fuck are you talking about, Rupert?
Here, just listen. To my closest friends, Gina, John, Cooper, my ex-girlfriend Shannon, and Rupert. If you're reading this now, I am dead. I understand that this must be a very trying time for you all, but in this will, I want to both honor the love that I have for all of you and honor the very vessel that has carried me through my existence. As horrific and savage as this sounds, I would please, as my final wish, ask all 5 of you to consume my flesh in a respectful dinner the night previous to my funeral.
What the fuck?
He wants us to eat him?
Yes.
What? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
No!
Hey.
John,
listen.
let's get the fuck out of here! John, you're not.
He was our best friend.
I would please, as my final wish, ask all 5 of you to consume my flesh in a respectful dinner the night previous to my funeral. I wish for it to be prepared by my trusted friend, co-worker, and brilliant chef, Rupert. As far as everybody else knows, I have been cremated, and my official funeral will be tomorrow. But this is the real one. I'd rather be in the warm body of a friend than alone and rotting in the cold ground. Love, Robert.
I don't know, shitting him out and Flushing him down the toilet is the most respectable thing to do.
Where the fuck is this coming from? This is so not like him.
I can't fucking believe this is happening.
Honestly, I can see Robert thinking something like this up. He had a dark side. You can't deny that, Shannon.
Is he prepared?
Yeah. Look, when I was first informed of this, obviously I was horrified, just like all of you. I was furious at Robert for putting such a burden upon me. Cutting up a man and cooking him would forever be one of the most inhuman, horrible things I've ever done. But there's no arguing with the dead. I thought about it, and I realized that what he asked me to do is one of the most beautiful things anyone could ask someone to do for them. Turn their flesh into art. I did my research. I cut the best pieces, no health risks. His body was well kept and isn't rotten. I boiled him, sautéed him with lemon and rosemary, and made my own red currant sauce to put on top. You'd barely realize you were eating him. It's what Robert wanted me to do. Now, there's no real reason not to do this.
No reason? Are you fucking retarded? It's wrong.
Is it? On what basis? Because society told you it's wrong? What's wrong here is to deny Robert his final wish.
Okay.
Well, should we pray?
Pray? Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's necessary. How do we do this then? What are we doing?
Well, how do cannibals do it? They just rip right in, don't they? Why don't we do that? Because we're cannibals now. Forever. We're always gonna have this hanging over our fucking head.
We're not cannibals, okay? We are good people doing something to honor our friend's last wish.
But I've had sex with this meat. It's been inside me. This is disgusting.
Come on, Shannon. He wasn't good enough to marry. Now he's not good enough to eat.
How dare you?
You ruined his life enough. You might as well finish him. I mean, that's the least you can do.
Rupert, will you shut the fuck up? This has nothing to do with our breakup.
Well, you did really devastate him.
We were with him after you dumped him. He was really messed up. We took him to go see The Lone Ranger, the movie theater, and he cried. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Am I being blamed for his death then?
Well, no, you didn't kill him. He just would have been alive today if it wasn't for you.
Shut up! Okay? This is so fucked up. Why would Robert make us do this? Like, this is so sadistic.
Look, this does seem really out of character. But there's no way this isn't true. It's too insane for it not to be.
If you want to honor a friend, honor his wishes.
How? By cutting him up? Cooking and eating him? How does that honor the dead at all?
Is this coming from your delicate moral compass, Shannon? Your culturally conditioned sense of what's right and wrong?
Look, we could go back and forth on this all night, but here we are, and Robert's in front of us, and Rupert went through a lot to bring us here tonight. He dismembered Robert, and he cooked him. We can't let Rupert do this alone. You know, and if we don't eat Robert, then he's just going to be thrown in the garbage. And Robert does not deserve his final wishes to turn out like that. We should just...
And Robert is the last person who should be thrown into the garbage. He was a brother to me.
Will you just shut up? Gina! Will you just shut the fuck up?
Excuse me?
You hated Robert.
You're just making his whole death all about yourself, just like you do about everything, because you're so fucking disgusting.
How dare you!
Okay, you took 2 weeks off work and you wrote some bullshit status update that you knew was gonna get more than 50 likes. And the week before, you were yelling at me because you didn't want him near the house for your fucking birthday party because you're so fucking selfish.
God, how dare you! I love Robert!
Yeah!
Yes!
Run!
I did!
Run!
Of course. And you, John?
Why? Give me one scientific fact. Give me one objective fact.
We're eating a human. We're cannibals.
Now, do you see that? Do you understand that this is what's so fucked up about the human race? How fucking selfish we are? We will eat every living thing but ourselves. And all these other animals have no choice in the matter. They don't want to be eaten. The entire basis of their existence is to not be eaten. And here we have a sentient, conscious being, our best friend, who meant the world to us, who died, and who decided, using conscious thought, decided that he wanted to be eaten. And we won't do it. We'd be assholes to not eat something that wants to be eaten after eating so many things that didn't want to be eaten. That's wrong. That's fucked up. The worst thing you could do to a friend is ruin their final wish because you're all such fucking prudes. I'm gonna do it because I'm a good friend. And Robert wouldn't hesitate to do the same thing for any one of us either. So, fuck you.
Rupert, how did you get the body?
It was delivered.
By who?
The mortician.
The mortician? So wait, the mortician risked their job, did something completely illegal, and just delivered the corpse to your doorstep?
Yeah.
Robert's lawyer took care of it all. So how did they do it? Were they just like, here you go, and just gave you the body so you could hack it to bits, cook it up so you could feed it to us?
They were very professional and made me sign a contract. Agreement explaining how to cook.
What are you talking about?
Are you lying?
Whoa! Let's all calm down here. Okay, we're all very upset. And we shouldn't be throwing around these
What are
wild...
you talking about, Rupert? How did you get the body? Did you steal it? Did Robert even... Did you?
Tell us.
Tell us right now! Do we have to get the cops involved?
No! Wait, just listen. Robert didn't write the letter. I did.
So, Robert had nothing to do with this? It was all you?
Yes.
Son of a bitch! You're gonna rot in jail, you sick fuck!
You fucking monster!
Explain yourself.
It's simple. I wanted to eat a human so badly my entire life. I was obsessed with it. I've tried every kind of meat except for ours. I just knew it would be the most wonderful thing I've ever tasted. I'm a cannibal. I looked for every reason to eat someone that wouldn't put me in jail or make me look like a monster. Then, one day, 5 months before he died, Robert brought up the idea of what one might do with their body once they've passed.
So you talked about eating him?
I brought it up. He laughed at the idea. He decided he wanted his ashes spread along his grandfather's cottage or some lame bullshit like that, but I couldn't let that happen. You see, Robert was perfect. I thought about eating him a lot. When I found out he was dead, I wasn't upset. I was over the moon. As much as I loved the guy, I knew this was the only way I was going to be able to eat someone and get away with it. Looks like I'm not. But at least I can finally fulfill this dream of mine.
One last thing before the police arrive. Why would you make us eat him with you?
Well, if I was caught, you'd all go down with me. And I'm insane.